vaccine distribution. We are currently able to provide a limited number of vaccines.
We stand ready to increase our involvement in doing our part of moving us all forward as vaccine supply increases.
If we use all the tools available to us, including getting vaccinated, washing our hands frequently, wearing a mask, and social distancing, we stand the best chance of getting our families, our communities, our schools, and our workplaces back to normal as soon as possible. Register to get your vaccine at www.vaccinate.ne.gov.
Good morning, 8 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Mountain. This is NCN. Coming up, Nebraskans continuing to try to pitch in to help those stuck in Afghanistan after the Taliban takeover. Details on the way. And a manhunt in northeast Nebraska ending yesterday with the suspect still at large. The latest details and much more. But first, your AccuWeather forecast.
Thank you so much for joining us here on NCN today. We're still seeing those sunny skies outside, less of the smoky haze because of a wind shift out in California. Warm and breezy conditions as well, and we are watching the chance for some rain and storms eventually moving into our region by tomorrow. Here's what our winds continue to do. We're seeing those winds out of the south today. Some gusts 25 to 30 miles an hour this afternoon, and we'll continue to see some of those breezy winds even later tonight, especially for the western half of the state. We'll still see those winds 25 to 30 miles an hour. We can see that in Sydney, 29-mile-per-hour wind gusts expected. For the eastern side of the state, a little calmer, but still seeing those winds possibly getting up to around 20 miles an hour. As we go overnight and the atmosphere stabilizes a little bit, we will see those winds start to get back into the single digits, but picking up possibly again for tomorrow. Looking at our forecast for the rest of today, sunshine, 80s and 90s.
Thank you, Morris. There's a live look at your Great Dane trailer Skycam in Wayne, Nebraska at 8:01 Central Time. You see off in the distance a little bit of that haze that Morris was talking about. 69 degrees right now in Wayne, America. Feels a little warmer than that because it is, once again, pretty humid out this morning. And as Morris showed you, we can expect highs today in the mid to upper 80s in northeast Nebraska. But some potential stormy weather on tap, and maybe some cooler temperatures as well. Morris will be back later on this hour to tell you all about that in his full AccuWeather forecast. But now, let's get you back to news, beginning with the continued fallout of the takeover of Afghanistan and how that's affecting folks here in Nebraska. Nebraska native Shelley Heil spent 3 years working from 2012 to 2014, working in Afghanistan side by side with locals as part of the U.S. aid program. Now, with the rise of the Taliban, she's hoping to help those who want out to do so safely. After leaving Afghanistan, Heil began helping some of those men she worked with, taking advantage of a program intended to assist those who had assisted the U.S. efforts, the Special Immigrant Visa Program.
These men served the U.S. mission, and they did it knowing that they could be in danger, and there was a commitment made to them.
She's written 63 letters on behalf of those she worked with, 21 of whom have already relocated to the United States, most in California. Experts warn that the pandemic could lead to an increase in domestic violence as people were stuck at home with their abusers. That trend now being seen in central Nebraska in a devastating way, with multiple shootings in just the last week. Domestic violence doesn't always look like a shooting or even involve the police, but experts say sometimes it starts with something nonviolent, like a partner being controlling or trying to isolate you from friends and family.
That's often a red flag because abusers try to isolate the people that they're harming, to keep them from getting help, to keep them from hearing that, hey, that's not okay the way he talks to you, or what she's saying about you, that's not okay.
Springer encourages people to look out for red flags and to meet with advocates at the first sign of harm. She says a common scenario seen is men being violent toward women, but she says domestic violence can happen to any gender at any time. If you're in the market for a new car, you may have already noticed the prices for new automobiles are high, record high. In fact, according to Kelley Blue Book, the average transaction price for a new automobile hit a record high, nearly $43,000 in July. That's up 8% from last July. A limited supply of new vehicles and a trend toward higher-end SUVs and pickup trucks are some of the reasons for the price jump. However, the high prices might be discouraging customers. New car sales have slowed. July was the slowest month of seasonally adjusted sales in a year. Be careful before your next barbecue. Hostess is voluntarily recalling its soft white hamburger buns and soft white hot dog buns. According to the Food and Drug Administration, the products might be contaminated with listeria and salmonella. Hostess says it hasn't received any reports of related illnesses. The potentially tainted items were sold at retail and convenience stores nationwide. Consumers are advised to return the buns to the place of purchase. More information is available on the FDA's website. And yesterday saw a major piece of American history come to the North Platte Lee Bird Regional Airport. A World War II-era B-24 Liberator nicknamed Diamond Lil was available for patrons to tour and even ride. The bomber's making a tour around the Nebraska and beyond, showcasing a true phenomenon of wartime technology.
We do about 30 to 35 stops a year, generally once a week. Sometimes, like now, we do 2 in a week. And so, we would come in, we fly this airplane everywhere. Some people think we bus it to wherever, and then we tow the plane, and then we assemble it when we get there, and that's not what happens.
A B-29 bomber named Fifi was also supposed to make the trip, but couldn't due to mechanical issues. Both Diamond Lil and Fifi scheduled to be in Scotts Bluff from Friday through Sunday. Tickets to tour and ride the planes are still available. More news coming your way next. You're watching News Channel Nebraska. Welcome back to NCN, 8:06 Central Time. Show me the data. That's what a number of health experts are saying ahead of the president's announcement on a plan for COVID-19 vaccine booster shots. Britt Conway has more on what the plan could look like and why some experts worry it may be jumping the gun.
President Joe Biden talking boosters. The White House says he'll lay out his COVID-19 booster shot plan today. Preliminary data suggests the general population might need a booster about 8 months after their final dose, and sources say they could be offered by mid to late September, pending FDA authorization, that is, with plans to prioritize healthcare workers, nursing home residents, and the elderly. Both Moderna and Pfizer-BioNTech say their 2-dose vaccines are protective for at least 6 months. But Pfizer-BioNTech submitted initial data to the FDA saying a 3rd shot may help maintain a high level of protection against COVID-19. Still, a number of health experts say they want to see more data from the CDC.
There are data emerging from Israel, from the United Kingdom, that look as if the immunity may be waning, but it's unclear what is waning. I would hope that their guidance is nuanced enough so that people can choose.
It will be very important that the data are shared so everyone can take a look and make a decision as to what they want to do.
And there's still the challenge of getting more people to get their first dose. Only about 60% of Americans 12 and up are fully vaccinated. And the mask mandate debate rages on as Delta continues to spread, now making up nearly 99% of new cases.
You have 2 weapons here. One is vaccines, the other is masking.
Reporting for News Channel Nebraska, I'm Britt Conway.
Students at Grand Island Central Catholic have only been back in school for about a week. The district already making changes to its COVID-19 policies. GICC Principal Jordan Engel sent out a letter to families notifying them that the school will require students to wear face coverings indoors starting today. In the letter, he said with recent COVID-19 cases climbing at an alarming rate in Grand Island, the school is taking further steps to protect their unvaccinated students. The mask mandate will stay in effect until either local case counts drop below 50 per 100,000 or the school goes 14 straight days without a student or staff testing positive. Most U.S. parents plan to send their kids to school for in-person learning this fall. That's according to a survey out today that the Rockefeller Foundation commissioned. It shows 89% of parents were okay with in-person school as of late July. It's up 5% from a similar survey in May. Only about a quarter of respondents, though, said they know details about plans to prevent the spread of COVID-19 among young students. And Pope Francis urging everyone to get vaccinated against COVID-19. In a video message released today, the Pope says getting vaccinated is, quote, an act of love, end quote, adding that shots must be available to all. The message is part of a campaign organized by the nonprofit U.S. group, the Ad Council, and the Public Health Coalition COVID Collaborative. The Ad Council says it's aiming to increase confidence in the COVID-19 vaccines. 6 cardinals from North, Central, and South America were also featured in the video. Still to come on NCN, more news, your AccuWeather forecast on the way as well. But now, time to take you down to Columbus for today's live daily mass at St. Isidore's Catholic Church. You're watching NCN.
Today's morning mass is brought to you in part by these sponsors.